Welcome to the Troubled Artists Podcast, Episode 35, Jennifer Goodman.
Welcome back to the Troubled Artists Podcast. Today I am here with Jennifer Goodman. Jennifer Goodman is an award-winning writer, producer, and director who co-founded Lakefront Pictures to elevate unheard voices through narrative film and new media. Since launching, the company has produced multiple short films, created professional demo reel scenes for actors using cinema-grade equipment, and housed projects such as Conrad, The Nest, Reckless, The Unseen, and is currently working on their newest project, A Snowbound Christmas. So thank you again, Jennifer, for being on the show. So before we begin, I do like to ask this one question. Tell us in your own words, who is Jennifer Goodman?
Well, I'm a neurodiverse actress, writer, producer. I am someone who has been involved in theater and film my whole life. I live in the northern suburbs of Chicago with my husband and my golden doodle. And I love travel. I love learning new cultures, and I have a blast in the industry. So it's something that I do for work, but also because I'm passionate and enjoy it.
Wonderful. That's good to hear. How did you get into acting and producing or just the arts in the first place? Was it something you discovered early in life or later on in life? Just kind of tell us about that.
Yeah, I got involved at a pretty early age. I was involved in theater productions in my local community. I actually got involved in singing and dance when I was very young. That was something that my mom had signed me up for because I used to have quite the singing voice. I did it for a lot of theater schools. I did it for a lot of programs. But as I got older, I got more interested into stage performance and acting. Being that I'm on the spectrum, I was in a lot of programs to help me with understanding communications, and nonverbal communications were a struggle for me. For being in film, you really learn how to be more observant and utilize that as a way to kind of be an educational resource for me to learn about body language and communication. And so it was a really great mix for me to learn skills, but also to take a talent that I enjoyed and blend them together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's wonderful because you have this whole production company, Lakefront Pictures. I saw several of the demo scenes, the demo reels that you've done for other actors, and I saw several of the other film projects that have released, such as The Unseen and Blackadder. They're all really great films, and it's just really great that what you're doing, and helping elevate other people's voices and helping them build their resumes and their reels. I just want to know, how did Lakefront Pictures kind of start, and what was the main inspiration for wanting to create this production company?
It really kind of evolved. Ryan, who is my business partner, and he is a cinematographer in Chicago, he was trying to make something for his demo reel. It was a short film, and he had cast me as the lead character, and I was really invested in it. He thought it was just going to be a one small shoot, and I was like, what if the character does this? And what if I wrote this? And I ended up coming up with a lot of ideas, and a lot of which that he connected to as well, and so we collaborated on that level. And then through that, we ended up making an entire pilot and series pitch deck, and talking to studios and networks to learn that you need to have celebrity talent. I came from a background in business development and sales. My background is cold calling and reaching out to companies and seeing if they will buy a service or a product, and if they say no, keep calling, email, follow up. And so that was kind of the name of the game with this, is you need actors with names. Okay, fine, then I'll do it. And that was something that I started to do quite a bit of. And then we had Harry Lennix involved and Eric Roberts, and it just evolved. And then, they had such a great experience. We built something really amazing with our investors and the people who were part of it. It was really like a family. And from there, we wanted to do more. So we started bringing up projects, and actually when we spoke with Netflix, I expressed, we're doing this, we're doing that. And at that point, beholden to doing it, because they were like, oh, great, we'd love to see it. The next thing I know, I'm raising $700,000 for a feature. Lakefront Pictures came about in 2021 after COVID, and realizing that there wasn't going to be opportunities on the work front for us consistently, projects. And so how do you monetize an organization? By offering a service that people can flock to. Well, actors weren't getting opportunities on set. They weren't getting their reels made. They weren't getting their, they didn't have the materials necessary to get themselves the roles that they deserve. So we thought, well, this would be a great way to write, produce, film little scenes that they can use for their reel, and it would be an opportunity for them to grow. We get to do more projects, we get to do the work, we get paid, and it just kind of evolved that way, and it started growing.
I guess right now the future, because I know you recently opened up like the Lakefront Film Institute,
Yes.
and I'm curious to know, just like for those that don't know, just like what is that, and like how is that going to evolve over the years?
We started that because we had been reached out by interns and filmmakers and college students to work at our production company. They've asked for experience working on a set, working behind closed doors with the producers and the studios, and getting knowledge on the writing and what's expected in the industry. It's been for many years, and so one of the things that we found is that people wanted to learn from us because we were starting to do things that were outside what most productions are doing. Either you're on the big Warner Brothers lot, or the Chicago CineSpace lot with the Chicago shows, or you're a freelancer trying to make an LLC to make your project that you don't know. You don't have anyone to help produce it, line produce it, you don't know the business, you don't know how to utilize the Illinois tax credit. And then there were these, small companies that were making projects happen, but people were just not learning about it. They didn't have the experience. They didn't, know how to really benefit from the filming community. And so interns joined our team. We were able to get a lot of support from schools and universities, and we started building an internship program. We had them on the unseen. They loved the experience. And now we have interns that come to us and learn a lot from us. So the Institute, we were spending money that we didn't have to support our interns, meals, activities, parking, emails. We give them email accounts, we give them Google Drive, we give them access to CapCut, we're subscription based. So it got to the point where it's just, it wasn't sustainable for us, but moreover, we really enjoyed giving back to the community, and we felt like we're only touching upon like a very small percentage. Like, we really want to educate the community to understand like what happens in the business. The experience I've had as somebody in sales to understand distribution, and that the projects actually require distribution discussions and development, not just in post, because your whole project has to be tailored towards a distributor or towards that level of marketing. And so you really need to know how to make your project sell. So a lot of things that we were just like, there's so much we can offer. Why are we not doing something that offers a lot to the community? And so we built a program, and we've been creating this program. The Illinois Film Institute is a place where our interns can work for Lakefront Pictures as an intern and then be teachers at the Institute for people who sign up for community-based programs. So they get to level up their experience and stuff like that. And then we get to teach as guest speakers. So it's really an opportunity to kind of elevate the community.
I am curious to know, I mean, I know we talked about Lakefront Pictures and like the highlights of that and doing that, but what have been some other highlights of your creative career so far?
I would say the people I've gotten to meet, the people I've gotten to work with, a lot of individuals who have reached out for us to produce their projects. I know that one of the things will be, the upcoming Christmas movie, and working with a really well-known director as well. So I think, just the opportunities that we've gotten have really sparked us. It's no one specific thing.
It's really great that you're doing that. But of course, as we all know, being in the film industry or being an artist, there's a lot of bumps in the road, not everything's perfect, So what have been like some of those struggles that you faced in your creative career so far?
I share this a lot. I think, really not knowing how to do things when I first started, and really troubling the filmmakers and freelancers that did know what they were doing. So I didn't go to film school. So my 4-year film school was making a TV pilot and hoping that I could make a project that would be something that only people would like and something that my crew would enjoy. And I didn't have any money when I first went into this, and so a lot of it was asking favors from people who I thought had the same passion I did. They say that loyalty has an expiration date. It certainly does. I learned very hard lessons in the beginning about how to go about doing things in a way that would be a little appreciative of the staff. You never have an intent, or I don't have an intent to make anyone feel, that we're trying to not pay or not do things. But, in the beginning, we're all the same. We're all just trying to make a movie, and we all want to make it happen. And how do you do that? But then again, some people's careers. So, really trying to figure out a way to balance that is a definite challenge. A fine line of, okay, this is an educational experience for me. This is my way of learning the process. But also being mindful that this is also people's livelihoods. And so you want to be in a position where people are feeling valued and appreciated. And so that was a big learning experience for me, because you can feed them all you want, but if you can't pay them, you shouldn't be making a movie. Or if you do, don't ask for too much. It's interesting because, it's not that I didn't appreciate it, it's that I didn't know the processes the way that I do now, right? Paying someone $100 a day will work for maybe 2-3 days, but when you ask them to do it consecutively, it can be a lot. And if I knew what I knew now, I would have never done things that way, and I would have done things a lot differently. But the other side of it is proper communication, right? Making sure everyone's on the same page, because we were very transparent that we didn't have money. It's really about understanding other departments. And I think the moral of the story would be that it's not just making sure everyone's paid, but making sure you understand what people are supposed to do and what their roles are, so you don't step on toes and you don't show lack of appreciation. So there's involvement in understanding what people do on set, what their roles entail, and having appreciation and a knowledge for that, if that makes sense.
Is there any other projects you have in the works regarding short films, or just with the future of Lakefront Pictures or Lakefront Film Institute?
Yeah, there are a lot of projects that we are in the process of, and then other people's projects that have been pitched to us. We're seeing, which one kind of fits our slate. So right now we're just kind of making decisions on where we go with those.
Is there any other last minute advice that you want to share to any artist, any filmmaker that's listening in right now? Anything that you'd like to share?
I always say that you want to give everyone an opportunity. You never know what you might learn. You never know what experience might come of it. And I'm a big advocate of having your own experience. There's so many things that people have shared or mentioned about the industry or the tax credits or who to work with and who not to work with. And I've always thought to myself, maybe that was their experience, but I want to have my own experience. And I feel like because I've done that, I've learned so much, and I've been able to take those lessons in so many ways and apply them to future opportunities. If it weren't for some of the things that I've done, like reaching out to people I don't know and just asking to work with them, I wouldn't be where I am. I would say that, I reached out to Leslie Linka Glatter, who is one of the most renowned directors and executive producers, and she was also part of the Directors Guild and, the DGA, and always making a difference and always putting people first. And I love that. And I felt very driven and compelled to reach out to her, and she has inspired me in many ways. She doesn't even know. But I think you never know. It doesn't hurt to reach out, give people a chance, and fight the good fight.
Thank you for tuning in to the Troubled Artists podcast. Have a great day.